Alrighty guys, just sharing this with the group. Alrighty. Share it with. Y'all coming in to the paid groups. Alrighty. Come on in guys, welcome to class. We are live for a record number 28 times. This is 28th live. We are with you almost 7 months teaching English pronunciation, English sounding native and sounding natural in English. Wait for people to kind of come on in just a few minutes after the hour, getting into it today. But the first thing I want to mention to you guys is just a reminder of why we're here. This is December. It's already December 17th. So we're getting to the end of the year. Everyone's thinking about their vacation, holiday plans, thinking about so many things going on, vacations and all those things. And I want to just thank you guys for being here. Anyone who's watching this after. Now, Ben, what's going on? Well, good to see you again. It's just me today in this plant. Dustin's not here. If you've been following him, he's doing all these fun, crazy things in Japan with Yaciel Bouygues, which is just crazy. And so he's representing for us over in Japan. And today we're going to get into a fun lesson. We're going to get into it in just a moment here. It's got a crazy title, Orange Corn for My Lawyer's Employer. And just going back off of the sound, that combination of sounds that we see with other variations too. So, but before we get into that, I want to talk about a few orders of business and things that I think will help you guys moving forward. Right now, it's just it's been this YouTube community, and for those of you who are still here right now, I know it's a small group still. Ben's representing right now. Some of you guys are coming back every week and enjoying these even after the fact. That's huge. We love that you're coming back, and some people are even leaving comments after the lives, which is great. If you have questions, you can always bring them to our class. But it's important to kind of connect more with you guys. So it's yeah, awesome. Yeah, we love you too. We honestly, you guys, if you're watching this now too, but Ben, you guys are our best students, and we're so fortunate to have you here with us. We're feeling the love on this side too. So I want to share this stuff with you today, as much as we want to share with the stuff in the past. But the next steps for us and for this language club is to move to a platform where we can get a little bit more connected, where we can communicate during the week, even exchange, messages during the week, have questions kind of posted. And I'm not sure if it's the platform. Maybe you can tell me too, Ben, what you think. Generally speaking, if YouTube is preferable to something like Facebook. But we definitely want to grow this family, and because we still have lots of people in the club, but not attending the classes. So that might be another thing to change, maybe the day or the time. But it's hard for us to connect with you guys to know what's best. Obviously, we know whoever's watching right now is here and ready to go. Vamos! So I'm also just thanking the ones who are already here. There's something like 200 people that are registered for this club, this Spanish to English, or at least call it English pronunciation mastery every single week, and we only see a few people every week. So we don't know if it's about the timing, if people just signed up and forgot. And it's fun to have people who we know are interested, not knowing what they're thinking, if we're not connecting with them or providing the information that they need. It probably is a matter of people just signing up and forgetting, and that's okay too. But so next month we're going to move to Facebook for a platform. We also, over the next month or two, it would change the way that your payment takes effect. but it wouldn't change the price. So we would grandfather everybody in who's from YouTube onto this platform, even if we have to do some of the lives with 2 cameras or 2 phones just for a couple weeks, so that you can transition over. Missing these comments too. Yes, firme como rulo de estatua. Perfecto. Yeah, and we'd love to have you guys come on to the camera. That's another feature we're trying to add to it, so you can feel connected, get some feedback, and we want to invite you on stage, so to speak, and give you some feedback. A lot of this practice is not just for theoretical understanding, it's so you can feel connected to your use of English. It's your feedback, and that's so important to us, because we know this is one way to connect with you guys. For me, for Dustin I know is always in front of a camera, and I'm also often coaching one-on-one or in small groups, but this is a chance for us to really reach a large audience. If you have been enjoying the lives, and if you feel like that you're getting something out of this, surely you know someone who's in the same boat, right? In the same situation, right? Struggling with just kind of building confidence in English, and we want to help with that. So anyway, enough about that. You guys will get more information about that in the coming weeks. But another bit of information is that next week we won't be having our standard Tuesday live. So if you're watching this right now, it's December 17th. Next week is New Year's Eve, 24th. At least the time that we gave the lessons in the evening doesn't really make sense. So we're going to skip next week. Enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah if you're celebrating the Jewish Festival of Lights. And we're going to come back actually the following Monday, the 30th of December. If you can join us, fantastic. We'd love to have you there. We're going to record the live as well, obviously. But that's the business to take care of. There's still 4 lives this whole month. We'll also get into the people who are in the Gold Gorilla package, making sure that you know we have this PDF waiting for you from today also, every week. I'm doing my job. We're putting some PDFs in that mix. We only have a few people that share that folder. So if you're in that golden package, get your butt in there. We go and share some resources with you. So that's it. Other questions about things and how it rolls, just let us know. Send me a message, send us a comment, we'll get back to you. So a quick tip of the day. Let's get into the practice for today. If you have any questions, again, just write them in here. When I always feel like I'm asking about questions. Dustin and I both feel this way. We're like asking, if you have questions, go ahead, ask questions. Got questions, good questions. People are like, I don't have any questions. Like sitting here and so a lot of that is the reason why we're here. You're probably here because you're like, I don't know what it is that I need to improve. I need the feedback. I need the attention to that side of things. So we'll get into that. And so I'm going to share with you a tip of the day. We'll get into the main practice of pronunciation. In fact, today we're going to read some sentences and just talk about the rhythm and the linking. And I encourage you to suggest sentences or phrases that you say as well. So don't hesitate and say, hey, Ruben, stop what you're doing. Let's talk about this. We have a small enough family and community to be able to work on things that you guys are interested in. ¿Está bien? ¿Todo se entiende? Okay. Is good for you? The tip of the day is going to just deal with ways that, this word choice thing we've been talking about ever since back in the day, right? There's 2 things here. One is basically to say ways to say that something is really important. In English, we can say a lot of ways. It's one of those things where you can just use the word important. You can use a synonym for it. So maybe you say something like it's super important. You can use an adjective. It's really important. It's extremely important, right? But we also have synonyms that we can use. Something that you might know in Spanish is the same word. It's crucial. It's urgent. It's an emergency. And then I wanted to share one phrase with you, which was, it is of utmost importance. Do you guys know this phrase? Of utmost. Utmost. I'm going to write that here for you so you can see it written out. Of utmost importance means the most important thing. It's of utmost importance. That's the phrase. And so when we hear these phrases, I mean, I wouldn't expect a non-native speaker, to use that phrase. This is also why I share them with you, because I just find that it's a rare thing to hear from a non-native speaker. It's pretty cool to hear. So of utmost importance means it's extremadamente importante. It's of utmost importance. So when you guys focus on your pronunciation, I think pronunciation is of utmost importance, meaning it is the most important thing. Ese, what's going on, Ese? Maricel, no worries. I got late. Hey, I got here late. Throw that in there. You got it perfect. No worries. Everyone can come in as they like. Today we got a whole live for almost an hour going strong. Well, we will. We haven't been just 10, 11 minutes in the mix so far. Live phone calls like David Pacman. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Just like in the moment, take calls. Instead of video, just do audio. That could work. Yeah, it's of utmost importance. So I'm going to use that a couple times just to show you what I mean. It's of utmost, and it looks like I'm almost saying with a P, utmost. It's utmost, but it sounds like utmost just because the M is coming next, so you have to like anticipate it. Utmost. It's of utmost importance that we connect with you guys, that we know what you're going through, that we know where you're from, what you're practicing, what things you're struggling with, if this is effective for you. It's of utmost importance that you consider areas of word choice and not just sounds when you're working on your accent. It's of utmost importance. So not too formal to say, but it's kind of a thing you see maybe written very often. But it's an idiom. Yes, it's on the formal side, but it's definitely a phrase you can use anywhere, especially in emails. So utmost, yeah, isn't that weird? Utmost. I heard it today. In fact, I always think of you guys. I'm thinking of everyone who's working on their English pronunciation, English, just sounding natural. And yeah, utmost importance. If you use the word utmost a lot, great. Like, use it more. I mean, don't overuse anything. But generally speaking, if this is Maricel, use the word utmost a lot. Good for you. I mean, can't think of a situation where I would use the word utmost besides the importance. Utmost. Nothing comes to mind right away. It kind of feels like a fixed idiomatic usage. It's of utmost importance. Anyway, that's one thing. And the second thing I wanted to share with you guys has to do with the pronunciation of the word, this word, THE in English. I just feel like Spanish speakers, Portuguese speakers, a lot of, not even just Latin American and Spanish speakers around the world, generally I hear this mispronounced. By itself, in the sentence, in the phrase, how do you pronounce this word? Which vowel, those of you who have watched some of the previous videos, lives on the vowel sounds, do you remember the color or the vowel sound that corresponds to the word the? I'll say the word out loud. What it says is da, or the. Yes, there are two different pronunciations of the word, two different pronunciations, the and the. You might know this already. This is just a kind of review, tips. Some people are mixing it up, and these things fall through the cracks. But let's first, I guess we can first start with that. What's the difference between the and the? And what's the common mistake you might hear a Spanish speaker make when pronouncing this word? Da. I don't normally hear da with an ah sound. Da. Right? I normally hear something like de, I suppose. So let's talk about this. These three words here. Because maybe we can also talk about the word the. Ben mentioned the like with an I. I love that Ben's got the tongue out. The tongues out is a pretty cool emoji to have, or a cool badge to have. So the versus they versus they. Again, this is kind of a weird thing. Number one thing is the word the is not pronounced like they. It's not they or the. It's just the. This neutral, very relaxed relaxed pronunciation. The. If you're following along with the vowels, it's the from just one sun. Or I think we labeled the video a month of sun or 1 month of sun. That's what it was. So go back to the 1 month of sun, and you knew. And for this one, we won't have to use la regla fea. Although thank you for bringing that back up. La regla fea is for the letter A. Chad's dad's black van. Ban, not Ben, ban. The a sound has to be a stressed a or the only vowel. But this one is sun. It's from just one sun. Relax your jaw. Don't round your lips. The. That's a weird thing to consider, but the rounding of your lips is important. But don't do it for this one. The. It's not a sound that exists in Spanish. The D and the TH is helpful. The fact that you guys are already using the letter D and making that connection is huge. We don't want to say the. When you connect it to a word, it sometimes changes its personality. So let's put it together with a common phrase. How about the one? The one. These two words are good to practice because they have the same vowel sound. The one, the one, the one. You change the pitch, it makes it more interesting, but the one, the one, the one. Make sure you're not saying the one, the one. They shouldn't be different. Ojo. Cuidado. Gotta make sure those things are different. So when we check ourselves, we're using similar words. We call them minimal pairs, right? So they're words that are actually one sound apart, only one phoneme, one individual sound. And we want to use that as a guide. So the is the most common pronunciation. We also pronounce it the, but when do we do that? Do you guys remember that rule? When do we pronounce the word the like the? Leave it here in the comments here, because I want to hear what you know, what you don't know. Maybe you're just mixing it up and just trying it and guessing and testing. It is of utmost importance that we know this difference. I don't know if it's of utmost importance, but it's kind of important. I think it's important to know the general rules and structures behind some of these changes. Mari said, before a vowel, vocal, yes, before a vocal. Perfect, exactly. So I'll add one thing to that. You're totally right. Vocal will change to vowel. Vowel, vowel. And I will add that, yes, it's before a vowel, but before a vowel sound, not just a vowel. Okay, what's the difference? Well, we just talked about the phrase the one. The one, the one, I'm going to comment on that in a second, Ben. The one begins with a vowel, but it actually starts with a W sound. The one, the one. So that, in that case, the is appropriate. We don't say the one, but if it is a vowel sound, so for example, we often say the one, the only. The only. You'll hear that as an E. The only, the other, the plus a vowel sound, most cases will be pronounced like the. Totally, you guys got it. There's one other situation where we use the pronunciation the. Do you guys know what it is? So I want to just comment on this for a second. Ben says, in the club song, you use the. And by the way, I have to comment on that because in the club, D-A, that spelling is still pronounced in English, duh, not da. Just had to point that out. I know that you guys know these things. You're smart people. And some of you guys even live in the States. But the spelling is so important here, maybe of utmost importance. And it's important to make sure that A doesn't get pronounced like an A, as in da, dalo. duh, into club. But you're totally right. In the club, we do pronounce it like an but in the end, we use like a the end. And very common to hear that, of course, as a collocation. The one, the only, the end. Any other situations where you can remember that we use the pronunciation the? There's one situation that comes to mind for me, which is when we're trying to specify that this person, usually for a person or a role, this is the perfect example or maybe the best version of that thing. So if you wanted to say maybe like you have a favorite baker that you go to, or someone who fixes cars, a really good automotive mechanic, you would maybe use the pronunciation the before saying that this is the best option. He is the auto mechanic of LA. She is the baker to visit if you want cakes made to order. The means the best version of that. The person for the job, the VIP. So maybe you haven't heard that before, but this is the diet. Exactly. The best one that's worked for me, the diet that I feel like everyone should do, but yeah. But not for the one, exactly. We don't say we don't say the one because of the pronunciation. Think about the sound, not just the vowel. There are many vowels that begin, usually it's a W or a Y sound. You might notice that we begin certain words like one are kind of exceptions. The one. We also have words like, for example, words that begin with the letter U. If you go to a restaurant and you order the usual, which is your the same order. Sorry about that. The usual will also pronounce with the because the first sound is not a vowel, it's a Y. The usual. So if you go to a diner or a restaurant that's around the corner from your house, it's often common to say, I'll have the usual. Same as every week or every day, however often you go there. I'll have the usual. Some places will even have the name of their nice. I love that, Lorena. Vamos. You and Dustin are the teachers. You got it. It's exactly accurate. I like how you think. I like how it works. So important here. So the we use for vowel sounds, or to say that we are this is the epitome or the best example of that thing. So important. We love that you guys are vibing with this. It's very slang, but hopefully you guys feel connected to this, and if you're not learning new things, that you're confirming things that you already thought were true or that you knew were true. It's about building confidence, solidifying that base. This is the way to do it. All right? It's of utmost importance. So let's go on to the next thing, which if you have questions about this, definitely send a message in here because we want to know what's not clear. But the next part is just talking about the combinations of And just to review for a second, if you guys don't recall, last week we talked about the phrase her purple burger. And her purple burger is the phrase we use to remember the sound of We got all these phrases. If you guys haven't seen these yet, Chad's dad's black van, and Ben gets red pens, and she eats green beans, etc., etc. This week we have orange corn for my lawyer's employer. Now, it's not a catchy title. And to be fair, this is not the most sexy and exciting sound combination, but it's important to connect these differences because they are finite. There's only a fixed amount of combinations you can make. We know that there are, if you guys go to the vowel chart that we made, which is basically a compilation of every single vowel that there is in the American English language. You'll see a whole list of these. You'll see that there are, there's 17 vowel sounds plus these 8 combinations, making 25 sounds. People say there are different numbers. Don't write that number down or memorize it, but just know that there are a finite number of sounds. You can go through these vowels. In the vowel chart, we also posted in the group as well. So you have these written down. We got green and pink. We got rose and turquoise, sun, coffee, and bronze. The whole gang's all there. And now we're adding the combinations to because we want to be able to explain what's the difference between where and were. Where were you? Where were? These sounds don't exist in Spanish. The sound isn't the hardest to imitate, air, but it usually comes out like air, where. They were here. And I find this combination confusing sometimes, the versus air. Just one example. But there are 8 different ones. We have, for example, the sound R. What's R? Really, R is just plus Nothing crazy. R. But we just want to see that is 2 separate sounds. And sometimes in English we find these almost joining forces. And the R, the letter R, is kind of part of the vowel. That's maybe more of this lesson, what this lesson is expressing. The combinations of these sounds are kind of creating new blended vowel sounds. R. Look at that. It's kind of weird to see your own mouth when you're pronouncing sounds and paying attention to phonetics for the first time. R. Kind of gross maybe to see the back of my mouth. Whatever, you signed up for this. When we do R, you have to move your mouth. You go from R, from to R. And if you're not making that movement, right, then we have to make some kind of modification. If you're saying ar, like, so the phrase for R is scarlet hearts. We're using that, scarlet hearts. And the word heart is a very common word to use. Heart, or start, or part, or a car. All these words are. What's happening here? The is easy. The is kind of the same in Spanish, But when we say the R, maybe you can see this even more clearly with the vowel because it opens my mouth. You're taking your tongue and you're kind of curling it back towards the roof. R. That has to happen. You have to curl your tongue back. If you're not doing that, then there's kind of some production problem with the sound. Your tongue has to be doing that curl back, R. You notice my lips come close together, R. They're rounded in a way. They're kind of like forming like a circle, or like at least an oval, or like a square. I guess your lips can't make a perfect square, but and even the corners of your mouth are brought in, It should look like this. If I keep my lips like this, it should look like that. R. And of course, not everybody's going to open their mouth and saying, "Are you going to the party? Mostly people just speak a little bit more quickly, and we can't really catch those differences. So we're slowing it down here in these lives so that you can figure out how to understand that, how to practice that on your own. R. Ben says, almost like a shy, almost silent O. R. Kind of. I mean, it's the same position as the O. I mean, to be fair, the O in English is also like rose, nose. O is a moving sound. O. But I suppose I can see that connection, But the is such a quintessential sound. It's of utmost importance that you pronounce in American English. It's our sound. It's the shomeshamo of America, of the United States. It's the sound that kind of, when overdone, really emphasizes the specific dialect. Of course, we don't have to overdo everything, but we want to know the differences. When we're holding two different sounds up, like where and were, we want to know what the difference is. And now we can explain it. This is a combination. This is just one sound, The sound as in her purple burger is just one phoneme, one most basic unit. And R is 2 units. Same with air. Let's move on to the next one. Air. I use the phrase cherry hair if you're looking at the PDF in the guide. Cherry hair. So if your hair is reddish, you might have some cherry hair. And you might know that air is a combination of A and Air. We have so many different words with this, but just a few that we wrote on here on this guide. We have hair, care, share. So different spellings of this word. Bear, like oso, bear is spelled bear. Make sure that you're not pronouncing both of those letters, E-A, bear. Bear is the same pronunciation as bare as in empty. So a bare wall or a bare closet is different than bare. Or for example, often we make this joke in English. If you use your hands for something, sometimes we refer to these as your bare hands. So he built this house with his bare hands. And it's kind of funny to think like bare hands of a bear, or empty hands, like just human hands. So that's kind of a funny thing to think about. He built this with his bare hands versus his bare hands. That's kind of funny. Okay, I thought it was funny. Bare hands. So you can use that to kind of make some certain connections. Some of these are actually pronounced the same. Bear and bear are iguales. They're the same pronunciation. They're the same, besides the same, different spelling and different word, you get the same pronunciation. So if you have trouble with these sounds, let us know. We just want to move through these so you can hear all of them at once. So scarlet hearts, again, they're all colors. Scarlet is a color. It's like red. Cherry hair, also kind of a red. I was trying to start a whole red vibe, a red theme here, but sadly I couldn't think of any other colors that contain these sounds. Deer. I'm glad you mentioned it. Maricel, the next sound is the sound ear. So deer is going to fall under my category of clear beer. Clear beer, deer. Beer that you drink, and bear in the woods. Don't confuse beer and bear. Don't confuse beard with bird. Those are also tricky. Well, let's stop for a second and talk about those. Beer versus bear, and beard versus bird. Now these are just words that I know you must be curious about. Brew, that word is pronounced brew. Beer as in brew. You brew beer. But so not in the meanings. I think you know the difference in the meanings. Mostly when I'm talking about what's the difference or this versus that, it's in the pronunciation. It's in the way that you say it out loud. So when you say the word beer, it kind of looks like E-A-R is also ear, right? So B-E-A-R, you would think, of course, would be beer, but it's not. That's how this language works. There are different spelling patterns for different sounds, and some sounds can be spelled in 2 different ways. But no, I think we know that. So when you say the word bear, you're using that cherry hair vowel. It's one of the combinations. If you say the word beer, it's actually part of the phrase. Clear beer is a different combination of ear. And again, there's only 8 that I could think of here that we could assemble. You might argue that there's a 9th, and you go regional dialect, and this part of the country says it like this. Fine, but in general, I think that most native speakers could be categorized into these 8 groups. So far, we have R, we have air, and we have ear, which are also all words. R, air, and ear. So we move on to the next word, which is orange corn. Title of the live. Orange corn. What happens here? Or. You can't really see my tongue as I say this word. You can't see the tongue when I say the letter R. R, or. So I'm doing a little bit of a different sound with my lips. Or. It sounds kind of like a dolphin or a seal. A seal, not a dolphin. Or. The more I say it, the weirder it sounds, but it's, of course, a very important vowel. We use it in a lot of words, and the word or is one of them. Or we could do this. Or orange corn is the guide phrase. We've got scarlet hearts, cherry hair, clear beer, and orange corn. It's going to fall into one of these 8. We already got 4 categories down. It's going to be in one of these categories. So if you know these individually, you can take on any word in the language. If it has an R after, if the vowel has an R after it, and it's not like her purple burger, it's got to be one of these combinations. Rest assured. Now, as we continue to the last 4 vowel sounds, remember that when these syllables are unstressed, they're still going to sound like It doesn't matter what the pronunciation is. So it doesn't matter what the EAR, OUR. If it's unstressed, we don't actually care about the category. In most cases, you'll just say To show that example, the word color. Colors in the United States. In the United States, we say color without the U. You might see it spelled with a U in Canada and the UK. The pronunciation's not different. It's still an sound. We just have a different version. We take the French spelling or the non-French spelling. The vowel is still the same. Color. Lorena says, for me, bird is the same as beer. Wait, as bear or beer? I can't tell. You put the word beer and then an emoji of a bear. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. But bird, I'll tell you this one. Bird rhymes with word. Here's that for a fun fact. Bird, if you missed last week's live, this will help you understand. Because the sound as in her purple burger, can be spelled in many ways. Bird is an example of IR. Word is an example of OR. Okay, so you meant to say bear. But you say bird the same as bear? One of them has a D in it at the end. And of course the vowels are different. That's why we're here. We're going to work on it. We'll go through this. So bird is going to rhyme or have the same vowel sound, the same final sound as word. Bird, word. Bird, word. Everyone together. Bird, word. Bird, word. Fantastic. Nice. Now, the next word, bear. Bear rhymes with, you can think of it like bear and hair. Why not? Even though they're spelled differently. Bear hair. Bear, hair. You can think because bears have hair. Get it? And birds, they don't say words. But anyway, you can think of another way to connect them, I'm sure. Bear hair, bird, word. Got it? Word. So that sound is going to get you every time. It's also the sound that usually gives away if you're a Spanish speaker. So don't say air for the sound Benson, my mom's from Argentina, cannot for the love of God pronounce the name Earl. So are you teaching her how to do that? Have you shown her the way? Earl. That is not an easy word. Earl. It's also, just as difficult to pronounce the word girl. It's even the same word with a G in front of it. Earl. I wonder how I can only imagine how an Argentinian would say Errol. Errol? I would just turn it into Spanish. If you can give me a phonetic on how she says it, I would love that. Errol. I imagine they would, usually what happens is people only pronounce one of the two letters, either the R or the L. So you get an L, or air, and then neither one is really accurate. Thanks for sharing that, that's awesome. So Earl and girl, same sound. So she says, so she says oral. That's great. That's probably also what you see when you say the R. You see the R closing to an O, People just imitate what they see and not understanding the fundamental background. So maybe we can help mom with that sound, because it's funny too how we can make a connection with words like like her, or burger. Most people can connect those sounds to those words, her burger. Hopefully now you guys can too. But or I hear a lot of Latin American Spanish speakers using the O sound for A really common and really difficult word is the number 30. How do you say the number 30 in English? You probably know. It's 30. 30. 30. That D, the TY is the hardest part of the word. But the point here is to say that a lot of Mexican Spanish speakers, they have T. First of all, before I stereotype Mexicans right now, the TH is a really challenging pronunciation to begin with. Then you got the sound, which is the whole point of the last two lessons, so we decided it was of utmost importance. And the TY, which is a T after an R, which is a T between vowels, which is a D, which is a flap. There's so many things going on with this word. And the first three sounds in particular are really hard. And so normally what I hear from Mexican Spanish, Guatemalan Spanish is something like tori, $30, tori people, tori. Instead of tori, because they can do the T, they just don't do the TH. Anyway, if you're doing it like that, or the O sound I hear, I guess was the connection to what Ben was saying. When you say the word oral. So that's the thing. O-R instead of or and or. Lorena says, los gringos can't say Lorena. That's true. What do they say? They say Lorena. Well, we do have the name in English, Lorena. People spell it quite differently, I guess, Lorena. But it would be something like Lorena. I think this is kind of how people see your name. La, like sun, like one, like the la. Lorraine, like la lluvia, and then another at the end. Lorena. Everyone say the gringo chunky version of Lorena. Give me your best Lorena. Hey Lorena. Everyone say hey Lorena. Lorena, you can pretend to hear everybody. Say hey guys. Seti. What's Seti? Theti? Oh, Theti. I guess you were pronouncing the word 30. Theti. You can't say that either. And I hope that works for you guys too. Those of you who are Argentinian or from other Latin American countries, if you guys can do the la zeta de España. No, ¿qué dices tú? No, pues tío, no. Joder. This tú, the the, tha, thi, tho, thu, this is going to be the ticket if you guys can do th, if you guys have problems with th. I still wouldn't say it's a theti. It's first of all, right? 30. It is untranscribable with the Spanish letters. We could do something like, 30. The only problem with this, I'm using this like ER. This is going to be really super confusing. Is bringing in a new sound. 30. The second part is really Spanish. The ri, as in Ariel, Ari. 30. But again, you transcribe an like an American R, and then a Spanish R, and then do have going. So anyway, these are important. They're important to connect to or, air, R, the connections. There's a couple more here. I'll give you the last, all four of them together. We have which isn't that common. Or you have words like tour. Now, you could argue that this is two completely different vowels. So words like sewer. Sewer, do you guys know the word sewer? Sewer. A sewer tour. I'm going to write all these here too, by the way, so we have these all written down. Scarlet Hearts, if you don't have the guide. Scarlet Hearts, Cherry Hair, Sewer Tour, Orange Corn, Clear, the rest of these we have them. Sewer Tour, Scarlet Hearts, Cherry Hair, Orange Corn. We have Tire Fire, and Lawyer's Employer. Did I miss the last one? The last one was, oh yeah, Cauliflower Tower. Again, remember these are all supposed to be colors, so that we make these beautiful guides for you guys, the PDF guides. Do you have like a color-coded system? It's a little bit too much, I think, for the colors. The green is helpful. Green is E, pink is eh. That's different. But here, just to have a phrase to remember: sewer tour. Those of you who don't know what a sewer is, give me the Spanish word for sewer. It's where all the pee-pee and caca goes after you flush a toilet. It's where the Ninja Turtles live, more importantly, of utmost importance. So sour would be Cauliflower Tower. Sour. But so these are the 8: Sewer Tour, Scarlet Hearts, Cherry Hair, Orange Corn, Clear Beer, Tire Fire, Lawyer's Employer. That was also the title of this live here. We got to it. These, to be honest, are the only 2 words I think in the entire language contain these 2 vowels. Lawyer, oyer, oi plus oyer, and employer. If you can think of another word in English that has an oyer vowel, I would be very interested to hear it. So let me know if you guys have lawyer's employer. Otherwise, I think these are the only 2 words, so don't look much further past this. And cauliflower, tower, hour. These are extreme diphthongs. Ow, like brown house downtown, plus hour. It's simple as that. It's not about how they're tricky to pronounce. I know that you guys got this down. If anything, it's more about the fundamental sound and then adding to it. Is different than air. Is different than r. Is different than or. And I want you guys to be able to classify these words. So I'm going to give you a couple words right now as we finish up here today, and see if you can classify them. All I want you to do is write the phrase. So if I give you the word newer, we would say this is more like sewer tour. Just to show you what I mean. A word like newer. Ben says, what about manure connoisseur? That's a great one. I should use that one for the oor instead of sewer tour. Manure connoisseur, done. Changing it immediately. You know, because when you hear a good idea, you gotta run with it. You can't be wasting time. I'm putting this in the guide, updating it for next week. All right. Sewer to manure connoisseur. Why don't I think of that? I'll give you some credit here. So for the manure connoisseur, yes, we definitely want to have an oor combination. Oo plus It's changing this from sewer tour. I mean, that's the only thing, is that sewer tour doesn't have a color. Manure doesn't either, but it kind of has a more obvious color than a sewer does. Sewers could be, lime green. Connoisseur is hard to spell though, so thanks for writing that in there. So anyway, Lorena, the PDF, so for the PDF for this week is actually an updated version of last week's. I just added on to it. So if you're looking at the download file, if you're in that Google Drive, re-download the one that's called Her Purple Burger, and you should have a new version already updated. So it should be more words, an extra page on the back end. It should be 3 pages instead of 2. Maria Guadalupe in the house. Nice, good to see you guys with the tongues out. Love it. So those of you who are here and still here at the end, going strong, 50 minutes in, we're talking all about the ers and the rs and the airs. About to play a game where I throw out a word. I want you guys to just tell me the combination. Or if it's not a combination, just say purple burger. That's the official. That's the standard. And so we want to hear these. All right, let's start it up. Round 1 is the word here. All right, some of these won't be so hard, but we'll try it out. Oh. Okay. Sorry, just pulling this up. I wrote these down, prepared them for you. Okay. All right, of these words, of these groups, which one would this word be? Writing it in the chat right now. D-O-O-R. Kind of a weird spelling for this one. Say it out loud. And then which vowel pairing, which phrase here has the same flavor as the word door? I'll say it out loud, door. It's not doer, although that would be doer, D-O-E-R. Somebody who does is a doer. We could put that in our sewer tour, so it's not that one. Door, any guesses for which one door goes under? Door. That's right, you've guessed it. It's orange corn. Orange corn, door, same exact vowel, door. Spelled strange, right? 2 O's plus R is not typically how we get that or vowel. Door is different. Door is also rhyming with floor. Door also rhymes with floor. That's better grammar. So door reminds us of orange corn. Let me ask you another question. In fact, let me ask you a what's the difference question, because some of these words are really, really similar. We've already talked about beard, like a beard, which is going to be clear beer. But and the word bird is just purple burger. Hopefully you're not losing me with the phrases. But what about these 2 words? It's kind of a funny one. And maybe if you ask a native speaker, you can barely hear a difference. But I'm curious, what do you guys think about this? First of all, how do you pronounce this word versus these 2 words? Maybe that will help you to understand the pronunciation as we're kind of going through this. The first word, the guerra, how do you say guerra in English? We usually say war. Not a war, right? War, which is going to give us which vowel, which of these phrases do we get from the word guerra in English? La guerra, war. The word war actually sounds like door. War and door rhyme. War de guerra and door de puerta have the same vowel in English. Orange corn. Crazy, right? So war is the same as door. They rhyme. I put the tilde to say that they rhyme. That's the thing. Que se rima. War and door. So the word war versus the word preocuparse. How do you say preocuparse in English? We use the phrase, or we pronounce it, worry. Worry. Which vowel do you hear? Worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm just imitating Spanish speakers. Don't worry. For the effect, not teasing. Hopefully you guys hear the difference. Don't worry. The worry vowel is actually the same as purple burger. Worry. So when you say the word war, fighting in a war, versus the word were or worry, we're using 2 different vowel sounds. Or, like orange corn, combination. Were, like worry, her burger, straight vowel. Worry. Don't worry. So if you're talking about somebody who is at war, or a soldier, or in olden times before we had guns and stuff, we had warriors or warriors. If you pronounce it really clearly, you'll hear that difference as warrior. Gosh, it's so hard to hear that. Warrior. A warrior. Warrior. But it's somebody who worries is a worrier. War versus worrier. And to be honest, I often pronounce the first one the same way. Worrier. He's a worrier. But it sounds better to say warrior. A war hero, a war fighter, a warrior. And worry, don't worry, Slight differences, but that's what we're here to talk about. Really small differences in the word. Ask your native friends to pronounce the word warrior, and worrier, and see if you hear a difference. I mean, maybe in the Northeast you might not hear a warrior, and warrior. You might hear a difference no matter what the accent, just to hear how people distinguish those sounds. So, to review, we have a lot of combinations of the vowel with other vowels. We want to know that there are 8 combinations that we have here. We listed them in phrases for you so you can remember r, ear, or ur. We have the combinations ir, oir, and our. You don't have to know all those, but it's nice to know that there are categories, and so we put this together so that you can practice together. So one last thing to share with you guys for today is this sentence. I'm going to share this practice sentence with you. To just get this sentence and to get the pronunciation down, hear the rhythm of the phrase. The phrase reads, we're not here for more than a year. We're not here for more than a year. Rhythmically helpful here. We're not here for more than a year. Real quick, Maricel asked sour and hour. Sour is always going to be like a cauliflower tower. Hour, always. O-U-R de nuestro, nuestra, will change its pronunciation when you speak at a natural rate. O-U-R becomes R, as in A-R-E. So this is our house. This is, in your pronunciation, you will say it like this. This is our house. It's our team. It's our club. It's our decision. So these are our Sour Patch Kids. How about that one, right? I should have waited for you, then I would have given you the sentence. These are ours. Sometimes if you want to overemphasize it, you can say it's ours. This is ours. But generally, you wouldn't do that. These are our Sour Patch Kids. These are our Sour Patch Kids. Anyway, just a random way to connect those words. R. And the last phrase we wrote was, we're not here for more than a year. Notice how the pronunciation changes of we are, were. We're not here. We're not here, like clear beer. We're is purple burger. We're not here for, we see the word for reducing to for more, orange corn, for more than a year. Year going back to clear beer. So you can do this yourself. Again, you can automatically think about the vowels just like we did with the, is this Chad's dad or is this Ben's red pen, and categorize these yourself. Or you can ask other friends. This might start making you think of questions that you want to ask other people, that you want to bring to class next week. Not next week, but the following week. Whatever it does, let us know what you think of this stuff, if it's making sense. We got a lot of mind-blown explosions going on. Lots of thank you emojis, because hopefully you guys are getting this stuff down. We thank you too on behalf of Dustin and myself. We're going to come back at you in 2 short weeks. So on the 30th of December, we'll put this information in the community tab. So the last live for the month of December will be December 30th. Guys, so happy to be with you today. It's such a pleasure to practice this stuff with you. It might seem subtle, it might seem small, but really there's so much to learn, even in a short word or a short phrase. So keep it going, keep your practice going. We'll talk in just 2 weeks, and well, I can't wait to see you then. Talk to you soon.